If you're looking for powerful stories, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better one than my next guest. Melissa Ohden would tell you that she shouldn't even be here tonight, but God had a different plan. He turned a life that should have ended in tragedy into one of the greatest testimonies for the unborn our country has ever heard. She's not just a survivor, she's an abortion survivor, and today Melissa is here to tell you that the media is wrong. People like her do exist, so many, in fact, that she's launching the Abortion Survivors Network and Policy Center to prove it. Welcome back to Values Voter Summit, Melissa.
Thank you for having me, Tony.
Always great to see you. Thank you so much for what you're doing and taking time to join us tonight. Today, kind of a big day from the standpoint of policy here in Washington, D.C. The president, who's been a strong pro-life president, announcing today new protections for babies who may find themselves in a situation similar to what you did.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the perfect day to be having this conversation. And you're so right, Tony. Our culture has been so impacted by abortion and certainly is, impacted by the abortion industry and politicians that push the abortion agenda so far deeply that stories like mine and Claire's and Josiah's and Hope's, right? I could name off 100 other people, more than 100 other people whose stories are so pushed under the rug by the media and everyone else that people seem to think that this legislation is not necessary and executive order isn't necessary, but I'm here to tell you that it is.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch over the last year as this has unfolded. In fact, talking to Congressman Steve Scalise and Congresswoman Ann Wagner, who are pushing the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. 80 times they've attempted to have a floor vote on this. And of course, you just pointed to it. The defense or the argument against it is, oh, it's not necessary. But we've heard repeatedly Abby Johnson talking about how this happens everywhere, a lot more frequently than people want to admit is happening. And a part of this executive order that the president signed today, and of course it is limited because it's an executive order, but part of it is the reporting. So we'll have better numbers to know exactly how often, or better estimation of how often this happens, so we can make the point that this legislation is needed.
It is. I've been saying that for a couple of years now. I want them to prove me wrong, right? If this isn't necessary, then let's at least start tracking the data that tells us that we're wrong, but we know that we're not, Tony. I posted a number on social media just last week, and the number was 17,155. And what that number actually is the number of estimated abortion survivors since Roe versus Wade, simply based on a number that the CDC threw out a long time ago, saying that they estimated about one child a day surviving an abortion.
Wow.
Take that throughout the course of Roe versus Wade, 17,155.
So, Melissa, let me ask you this question. Why do they want to deny that this happens? Why do they want to deny the fact that it does occur, and that the humane thing, the right thing to do would be to provide medical attention?
I've been reading some interesting articles recently, and one of them talked about, how the pandemic is affecting people. And what it was saying, right, is it's so hard for people to grasp numbers in their head. Statistics are so hard for people. And that's why they were saying, right, stories are so important. And I was reading it thinking, yeah, I completely understand that, right? People want to somehow believe that it's not an issue. They can't wrap their head around it. They can't find a solution to it. Once you go there and realize that this is a problem, there's no going back, right? Emotionally or mentally. And I think, Tony, it is easier for people to believe that it doesn't happen. And even though we can spot that cognitive dissonance about it, right? But also, the effect of the media and pro-abortion politicians, the pro-abortion media, they have had such an incredible impact that they're easily believed in our culture. And people like me are vilified.
Yeah, and I think the reason they want to keep that, as you said, sweeping it under the rug, denying the fact that it exists, because those stories are powerful, as opposed to numbers. You mentioned the 17,000, that's one thing. But just one or two stories, like your story, Josiah's story, other stories that are told are powerful because it humanizes this issue and it moves it from, as Planned Parenthood is so well known for lying about, it's just a blob of tissue. But in fact, we know that that is not the case with stories like yours.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is humanity on full display, right? And I think, at this point in my activism, Tony, my heart hurts not only that they are denying the truth about the unborn and survivors, but when they deny our existence, they're denying the experiences of our biological parents who have been harmed by abortion. They're denying the experiences of clinic workers and nurses who cared for us, who, have never forgotten us. They're, of course, denying hope to people. Survivors are a sign of hope that people can go on to live beautiful lives. And most survivors are examples of love and forgiveness. And so when they deny our existence, they're preventing people from receiving that message.
Oh, that is so true. Share with our value voters that are gathered from across the country tonight about the Abortion Survivors Network that you've launched.
Yeah, we've existed for, 8 years, but really in 2019, we sprang into action when we saw all of the aggressive legislation being introduced across the nation. And once that door was really open to the media starting to cover our stories, more and more survivors started coming forward and needed really concrete assistance. And so we're continuing to grow. We're going to be launching a C4 side very soon. I can't wait for you to see it, Tony. Let's just say it's going to change things dramatically when it comes to legislation, because survivor stories are going to be put in the hands of organizations and legislators very quickly and easily, so we can humanize the issue of abortion. Through the Abortion Survivors Network itself, we provide healing support through a personalized workbook, small groups, a retreat that we've pushed back a little bit time-wise, but should happen in 2021. That's never happened before for abortion survivors. We do peer support. We had the Face the Choice ad campaign last year that should have made it to the Super Bowl, but we were able to still air it at the March for Life. We're knocking on the door of next year's Super Bowl. Something may still happen. So people are going to come face to face with more stories like mine in a huge way.
That is so good. I'm so grateful for what you're doing, Melissa. How can, let's say we've got some folks out there that are listening or see this, watch it somehow, catch a glimpse of this. How can they connect with you so they can be a part of your network?
Absolutely. We're a movement together, right? I mean, even though we serve survivors, we're serving everybody who's silenced and impacted by abortion. And we are going to end this together. So people can go to our website, abortionsurvivors.org. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We are constantly adding new content. We've got some great images coming out for Respect Life Month, reminding people of where survivors' lives began. And so I am just thrilled for what we're going to accomplish together.
Melissa, you're a blessing. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, and thank you for standing firm.
Good to see you, Tony.
All right, folks, you have a part to play in this as well, as Melissa and others are doing their best to tell their story, to shape the culture, to shape the policies that we put forth as a nation. You need to be a part of that. You need to pray, you need to vote, and you need to stand. So take the challenge. Pray, vote, and stand.